protecting the public. That is what the city says it is doing through a new panhandling ordinance. The rules make it illegal to solicit in certain medians, near schools, and from children under the age of 16. The ACLU says this violates civil rights. They filed a legal complaint against the city. Joining us now is Brady Henderson, director of the Oklahoma chapter of the ACLU. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we even start off, I want to say we did reach out to the city council for comment about this issue, and they say because of your pending litigation with them, they cannot do so, but you're willing to talk about it, so we thank you for doing so. Why are you so vehemently opposed to this ordinance?
Well, one thing to understand is there are actually two ordinances. The city, in succession, a few months apart, first enacted an ordinance that makes it illegal to simply stand or sit or be for any reason in most streets and medians. And then the city did a second ordinance that radically expanded a statute or ordinance that we call the aggressive panhandling ordinance. And that was in response to some concerns from a particular school district. And yet, ironically, both these ordinances have actually curtailed a lot of people's freedom, but not actually met the targets of what they were trying to do in the first place.
Well, the city says that this is all an effort to protect the public from panhandlers that may be out in the medians. It may actually even protect those people who are soliciting themselves because they are walking out into traffic to get to those medians. They're then soliciting from my car, your car, and that could cause a car accident. We've seen deadly incidents that have involved this. So why not protect the public?
Well, one thing to understand is we actually have not seen deadly incidents that involve this. The only thing the city council has talked about and we're aware of is actually a situation where a person essentially jaywalked and was hit. This ordinance has nothing to do with jaywalking. In fact,
well, I think they're trying to prevent people from walking in the middle of the street to get to a median. So in sense, that is jaywalking.
Well, but my point is this, that was already illegal. The idea of walking through the street to get there, or even stepping into a street to get a donation, was already illegal. Our government here in the city already had the power to ticket people, and in fact often did. It was not unusual to see those tickets. And so organizations like the Curbside Chronicle, the street paper here in Oklahoma City, many of you've doubtless seen the green jackets on vendors all over the metro. So these folks, for instance, have special training in how to make sure they don't step into the street. In fact, the only notions that we've seen having anything to do with an accident has been when a person simply walked out into the street, jaywalked, which can happen whether or not you have somebody soliciting on a median. And that's where I think there's a real difference here in our view in the cities, is that the city essentially is saying, because there's a danger over here, we should do an ordinance over here. That doesn't make sense.
You filed a 57-page legal complaint against the city in this case. Was there any attempt, though, before you did so to compromise with the city, or was this a zero-sum game? And in essence, you're going to oppose any ordinance that deals with this?
No, we actually worked with the city. We tried to talk to the city via letters, via phone calls, I think as early as several months before the ordinance was passed. As I recall, probably about September, August or so of last year, and we weren't the only ones. Numerous nonprofit organizations, churches, social services were really saying the same thing, which is slow down, city. Let's think about this. Let's figure out what the evidence shows, and let's do it right.
I want to get to this really quickly. We alluded to the principal who was very much in favor of this ordinance and actually called for it. Let's hear from her, Cecilia Robinson from Millwood Schools.
When parents come and they share concerns with me about panhandlers on the corner or about panhandlers in the area, and we have small children, then it's my job as a superintendent to address it.
So the superintendent there saying that she's actually witnessed students walking around solicitors in order to, and walking around them into the street, the students in the street, in order to avoid them. How do you answer the public's concern about that?
Well, with the laws that were already on the books, that was already illegal for a panhandler to obstruct a student's traffic before any of these ordinances were passed.
But what if they're not obstructing traffic? They're just walking up to a student at a bus stop, and the student's standing there at the bus stop and wants to avoid them.
Also already illegal. Our old aggressive panhandling ordinances already made it illegal to solicit at a bus stop. They made it illegal to impede anyone, to intimidate them, to pretty much do anything that's solicited in an aggressive manner. And that's really what the problem is here, is the city government, instead of saying, let's actually respond to the concern of the school district with enforcement powers we already have, they said, we need more power, when that was never, ever true. And that's what's so strange about this. I agree wholeheartedly, actually, with the superintendent. There was a response necessary when kids are at risk.
So what should they have done?
Simple, enforce the laws they already had. That would have solved the problem. And in fact, what's interesting about this is if you look at both these new ordinances, my understanding from talking with several people familiar with the particular situation at Millwood is that one particular panhandler they've been concerned about is not actually affected by either ordinance because of where he happens to panhandle. That's what is really so sad about this, is that we have a city government here that is doing all of this that makes it illegal for me to talk to a neighbor on a grassy median in my own neighborhood, and yet doesn't actually address the problems that people were bringing to their representatives at the city.